In this video, I'm going to walk you through the step-by-step process of connecting your mt4 account to the FXBlue trade copier. So there are multiple steps that need to take place here in order for you to correctly set up your account, enter in the lot sizing that you want. We'll get to all of that at the very end of this presentation once we have the trade copier EA installed on the MetaTrader platform. So there's a few things I want to warn you about before you begin. Number one, please remember that this is an EA that needs to be installed into your mt4 platform. Now, before we begin, I also want to remind you that you need to have access and have your email account open. So if you do this on your, obviously you're going to do this on your computer, on your laptop platform. So have your email account open, the one that you're going to use to register everything in, because you are going to have to click some links inside of those emails to validate your account through FXBlue. FXBlue is their system is going to automatically send you an email with a verification link. So you're going to have to click on that. I'll show you how that looks, what that step actually looks like. And then the other step to verify your account with FXBlue is you have to verify that this whole account that you're setting up is legitimate by using a cell phone. Now, a lot of people get really disturbed by the fact that FXBlue is asking for a cell phone number in addition to your email address. It used to be that it was just your email address was sufficient. But now, and they've done this for the last couple of years now, I think, but they request and they require you to use your cell phone to receive an SMS text message that you then open up on your phone and then click submit a reply. And then that completes the steps to validate your entire account on FXBlue. Without that, if you don't click the email link to validate, and if you don't reply to the SMS text message to a cell phone, then the account won't be validated. And I believe that the EA won't work. When you try to install the EA onto your mt4 platform, it's an EA that isn't activated. That's what I believe is a lot of people's problem. So sometimes they try to skip the SMS text message verification part to validate the account, and then they just try to download the EA, the receiver, and they try to install it immediately on their mt4 account, and it doesn't work. So again, please remember you're going to click the email link to validate the account initially, and then after that it's going to take you to another page for you to enter in your cell number. You're going to enter in your cell phone number. They're going to send you an SMS text message. You open up that SMS text message, and then you reply with the word hello. That's it. And within seconds, their system then confirms everything, and everything is activated on your FXBlue account, so that way you can use that trade copier. So I'll show you exactly what that looks like. So there's a link that you've received. If you go back to the membership area, if you click on the button, it'll take you right back to this page. If you ever need to get back to this initial start page, this is where we begin everything. So you'll notice here that it reads, if you have an invitation from a sender, sometimes I will send my subscribers a message after they've already connected and they lost the link or something like that. This isn't where you're going to start, but if you ever have to use this, it is available to you here. Click on the button below to enter the code that I would send to you if you, for some reason, lose connection, and let's say you lose your computer altogether and you need to get back into your account, something like that. This is where you would start on this invitation button. But right now what we're going to do is we're going to start here. This is where everybody starts, right here. So again, the Trade Mirror EA, it's a free service that FXBlue provides to us. And again, that's the reason why I can charge one-time payment for my service. If I had to pay for this, and if I had to pay FXBlue every month, then I would have to charge all of my subscribers on a monthly basis for the use, to make up the difference there. So that's one of the advantages to using this trade copier. I know it's an extra step, that there are extra steps to connect all of this. But again, please remember, this is just a one-time payment. It's going to make it a lot more cost-effective in the long run, and it's not that difficult to use once it's all set up and running for you. So we're going to click here, login, register. It's opening up a new window for me. This is what this window looks like. I'll try to fit it all here for you. It's just kind of an interesting window the way it opened up everything. So here, this top box is for existing users. We're not an existing user yet. Right now we're new users. So right here we need to click on this. So we're going to enter in the email address. And then I'm going to type in a username. Now the username is your mt4 account username. And the password is your investor password. This is something that a lot of people get confused about. So again, the username and the password, the username is your mt4 account number. The password is the investor read-only password in your mt4 account. I'm going to open up my mt4 account and show you how to find that. And I'm clicking on the terminal and I'm selecting mailbox. And right here you can see registration. And this is the account I want to link it to. And what you're going to do is you're going to grab the login account number, which is going to be the user name, and then the investor read-only password. So I'm going to grab the account number, and then I'm going to grab the investor read-only password, and then I'm going to go back to the setup page, and here's the username. The username, remember, is my account number. And then the password that I'm going to create is my investor read-only password to the account that I want to use. So now I'm going to click register. So at this point, you see that it says up here, it reads, some of the services cannot be used until you've verified your personal details. So the first step is to click that email account, the email that we got in our email account, and click that activation link. So I'm going to go back to my email account. So this is the inside of the email that FXBlue just sent me. So now I'm going to click right here, email verification. So I'm going to click on this blue hyperlink. You have to do this step or your account's not going to be validated and active on the FXBlue site. So click on that. And now it's going to open up a new window, which is the SMS verification. So you'll notice back over here, we saw it here, but don't fill in the details here. Don't go ahead until you have activated the email link. Click the email link and then let it take you to this page after you click that verification. The system does it by itself. Let it do that for you. Now here, send verification code. So here I'm going to put my name. First and last. And then I'm going to select the country. There's so many different countries in here. They've got it all covered. And then I'm going to put my telephone number in here. And then I'm going to click send SMS. Now, if you just heard my phone beep, that's how fast it is. It sent me the verification email. Now, I'm going to open up that verification, that message. It's like just like a regular text message. So I'm going to open it up. It reads FXBlue verification. I'm looking at my phone, but you can't see that. But it is basically what I see here on the screen, what you see there. It looks basically the same thing. So I'm opening up that text, and I can see that it reads FXBlue verification. I'm looking at my phone, which is just about the same thing that you see right here on the screen where my cursor is moving. So on this blue line of text, obviously my numbers are a little bit different, but it does read at verify.fxblue.com. You're going to tap that blue hyperlink. When you tap that blue hyperlink, it's then going to give you an opportunity to reply. What I'm supposed to do here is on the subject line, just type in the word hello. And then click send. and I just sent it. And now this page refreshed all by itself. So all of the steps have been completed to verify the account. And that's exactly what you want to see. And from this point on, you know that you've completed all of the steps to verify your account successfully. So your account is now activated and confirmed, your your mt4 trade copier account. So now we're going to click continue. And now we're going to go over here to the FXBlue Live. And here's my account number. And again, this is my user number for the FXBlue account. And it's also my mt4 account number. So we completed that step. We wanted to make sure that there was consistency through everything we're doing. Now this could be a demo account, it could be a live account, whatever it is that you want. You can change this or create new accounts on FXBlue. Just follow the same procedures each time to validate your FXBlue account every single time. Remember, there's two primary steps: the email link to validate the account, and then the SMS text message reply to validate the account. Those two steps will completely validate your FXBlue account. Now there are other details that you can fill out below the bottom half of this page. I'm not going to scroll down there. You can take a look at that yourself if you want, and you can fill out the details. So right now what we're going to do, now that you're here, you're going to click on the word that up here, the navigational tabs that reads Trade Mirror. When you click on that, this is the page you're going to see. Now, you're not a sender, so you'll notice that there's two other additional tabs here just under Trade Mirror. So we clicked on Trade Mirror, brought us to this page, and then now you want to select the appropriate option for you. You're the receiver. So now I'm going to click on Receiver, and this is what you're actually going to do here. Right now you can see that it reads you're not receiving any signals from anybody. Well, what you need to do first of all is download the EA. When you download the EA, it's going to give you a zip file. Put that zip file on your desktop and then open that zip file, extract it onto your desktop. So I'll show you what that looks like. We're going to go ahead and click download. Here it is right down here at the lower corner of my screen. So I'm going to drag it onto my desktop and then I'm going to open it up. Give me just a moment. Now here is the FXBlue trade copier. Remember, you want to make sure that you're seeing the word mirror, trade mirror receiver. It has to show receiver. So I'm going to right click and then I'm going to extract it. This is the way it looks like on my computer. Yours might look a little bit different, but I'm using that 7-zip option and I'm clicking extract files, and it's going to put it on my desktop. It's sitting on my desktop now. So I want to make sure that everything's just as I want it to look here. Click OK. Now you'll notice that I have two folders on my desktop. I have the zip file. Now I have the open extracted zip file with the trade copier and the setup wizard inside of it. So I'm going to open up this folder, double click on it, and right up here you can see that I have two options. The first one is the PDF manual for the FXBlue trade copier, the receiver version. You need to read this. I highly recommend that you read this. I really don't think that you should use the trade copier until you spend some time reading this. It's very important. It's going to help you solve a lot of problems in the future, a lot of questions. Please remember that the more effort you can put into understanding this trade copier and setting it up correctly, and you can free up my time and allow me the opportunity to trade more, look for more trades instead of just doing a lot of customer service, and technical support. Of course, I'm going to help you if you absolutely need that help. But if it's just that, you just don't want to spend any time looking at it, well, I have a few thoughts about that. First of all, I did that when I first started using tools like this. I just wanted something that would work, and I didn't want to get to know or understand the technology that I was using. But the reality is, this is a real money-making opportunity, and I need to trade as often as possible. I need to spend as much time as possible looking for trades rather than spending 8, 9, 10 hours a day helping hundreds of subscribers set up the trade copier because they just don't want to take the time to do it. I just don't have the budget for it. If I'm going to sell the trade copier with a one-time fee, then I just don't have the budget and the capital available to hire a staff of 3, 4, or 5 technical support people. I have Michael who helps me, and he works 8 to 9 hours a day sometimes. But for the most part, I mean, if you can spend the time to understand how to set this thing up appropriately, and you can do it on your own, if you ever run into any issues in the future, you know how to fix those problems. It's also, again, as I mentioned earlier, a money-making opportunity. Anything that you're going to add to your real live money-making or your money account to provide that money-making opportunity for you, I think that you should take some time and get to know what it is that is going on with those tools and the system behind whatever it is that's generating money for you or trades. And if there's ever a loss or if something goes wrong with the trade copier, you know how to fix it. You understand how it works. So I highly recommend taking some time, take 15, 20 minutes, get a cup of coffee, or if it's late in the night, get a beer and just go through it, and or a glass of wine, and just read through the PDF manual. It's not that difficult. There are obviously some sections and pages that you can skip because you already did and completed those steps, but go right to how to set up the lot sizing. That's really where a lot of people run into the biggest problems, is what size lot should I set up on this trade copier based on how much money you have in your trading account. I get that question a lot. Well, the first reply that I would say is that read this manual. This manual will walk you through the different options of setting up the lot sizing for your account. And number 2, I can't see how much money is in your account. When you use this trade copier service, I absolutely cannot see any of the money available in your account. I can't see how much profit you have. I can't see your account balance. I can't see any of it. So if you have any questions about lot sizing and margin and all of that money management, I highly recommend, and I say this to everybody, contact your broker. It is and should be your broker's responsibility to take a moment and talk to you and explain all of these factors, stop loss, how much money you should put on one particular trade, how many trades could you have open at one time. Ask them. They have to tell you because they know what kind of account they put your money into. And because of that, that's going to determine how much you could, how many lots you could have open on any one of these trades. Keep in mind that if you're using the maximum available lot size scenario for the size of your trading account, if you're using the maximum, let's say, you can't, if you opened up one standard lot or one mini lot, a 0.1, for example, if it was a mini lot, and you can't open up another one. Obviously, if I have 2 trades open at the same time, the trade copier will not be able to open up a second account because there's just not enough money in the account. It won't hit your account like that. So be aware that there are some safety measures with this trade copier, and it's detecting how much money you have, the trade copier is. Again, I can't see it, but the trade copier doesn't want to overexpose your trading account like that. So there's a lot of, all those details are here inside of the instructional manual. Now this is the MT4 receiver setup. So I'm going to double click on this, and this opens up the wizard. This is the FXBlue wizard, and I'm going to click yes here, and it's going to bring the box here on the screen in just a moment. And these are all of the MT4 accounts that I have installed on this computer. It's not going to look like this on your computer. It's going to detect all of the MT4 accounts that you have installed on your computer. So it's going to look different. But the one I'm going to select is Simple FX, and I'm just going to click Install. And it is that fast. I didn't pause the screen. It took just 1 second for it to install. Now, you want to remember that your MT4 account has to be closed. You don't want to have it open when you're initiating this wizard. You want to make sure that it's closed, and then you click OK. So when you open it back up again, you're going to see it in the navigational section. I'll show you how that looks. So we're going to go back to FXBlue now, and we're going to go over here to this page and get rid of that lower section. So we've installed the receiver EA for the MT4, and right here it's talking about how we're not receiving anything, right? We're not receiving any signals. So what you want to do is you want to go back to your account, and I'm going to click on FXBlue Live, this tab right up here, and it brought me to this page. And this number right here, you are logged in as, and it is your FXBlue account username, and it's also your MT4 trade copier I'm sorry, your MT4 account number. This number, you need to send this to me. And this is what you're going to send to me in an email. And in that subject line, you're going to use the words FXBlue user name. That's all you have to say in the subject line. And then drop this inside of the email that you're going to send me. Send that email to me at bestforextradecopier@gmail.com. Once I have your FXBlue username, which is also, again, your MT4 account number, I'm going to drop that into the sender for the trade mirror, the trade copier. I'm going to drop it in there, and then that's where I fill it in. I fill it in right here, FXBlue user ID. That's where I drop it in right there, and then it adds you to my trade copier list. And that's how you become connected to it. That's it. That's the last step that you have to do on this website. So here I am inside of that MT4 account, and I clicked on the navigator tab up there. I'm sorry, you can't see it. It's one of the options up there at the top, but you'll notice it. You just click on it and it'll open up this sidebar. And down here under Expert Advisors, here's the Internet Mirror receiver. This is the FXBlue receiver. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop it into just one chart. I'm just going to click on it once, drag it into one chart. I usually set it up on the euro dollar. There's a few things that I want to tell you about what's going to happen here. So here, again, I'm just going to grab it, drop it right over here, and it's going to bring this box up, right? This is where we're going to start things. And click on the About, get to look at things and become familiar with it. One of the first things you got to remember is you want to click on Allow Live Trading. Make sure that box is checked, and then allow DLL imports. If you don't have these checked, it's going to give you a warning message anyway. You'll see it. And then there's a few other things that I want to show you in just a moment here, but we're going to go over here to inputs, and this is where we put in all of the details. Now, there is a channel number, a channel name that I'm going to provide you, and that is going to be sent to you after you send me your username, which is your FXBlue username and also your MT4 account number. When you send that to me, I'm going to send you back the channel name. And that is what you're going to drop in right here. From there, you're going to put in your username. And your username, remember, I'm going to remind you a lot because this is where people get really confused and they start getting lost about what's my username. I created a different username on the FXBlue account and it's not the same username that I needed for my trade copier. They get confused like that. So again, make it consistent. Make sure that your username on FXBlue, just like we did in step 1, is your trading account, your MT4 trade account number. And your password on the FXBlue account or the FXBlue site is also your MT4 investor read-only password. So if you keep those things together and consistent, you're never going to get lost. You're always going to know exactly what is your username and what is your password for both the trade copier, your account here on the MT4 platform and also your FXBlue account. So here again, use the username. Remember, you sent that to me. The username is actually your MT4 account number. And your password is your MT4 investor read-only password, which is the same here on this platform, but it's also the same one that you created on the FXBlue account. So everything's perfect. That's the first thing that you want to do. So you're going to have those 3 sections right here, the channel name, the username, the password. At this point, you could click OK, and it should start working for you right away. Now, I want to take you to a few settings here. You can go through the manual and learn about these different settings. I usually don't mess around with these settings, and I recommend using the trade copier exactly as it is with these standard default settings because it'll work just the way it is here. There are some things that you may want to do to be a little more comfortable with it. So slippage, you can allow the maximum slippage in terms of pips, maybe 2, maybe 3. If there's whatever, I don't normally trade around the news where it's, it's mandatory for me to get in the split second the news is released. So you don't have to really worry about slippage there. I'm usually going to trade when things are quiet. And let's say, for example, non-farm payrolls. If it's 8:30 New York time, very often I won't get into the trade until 9 o'clock, or maybe at least 15 minutes after the news has been released. So the activity and all of that volatility has more or less subsided to a more normal level, and we really don't need to worry about slippage and things like that. So, but if you're comfortable with it, if that's what you want to do, this is all available to you. Again, remember, read the manual. Spend some time to understand these concepts here. Again, I don't really mess around with them, and most of my subscribers don't mess around with it, but it's there if you want to. Now, where you need to start focusing in is here under the words that read lot sizing modes. This is the lot sizing. This is where you're going to set in, a standard. This is a standard lot, right? 1.0. This is like a 100K account. That could be too much for a lot of you if you're using, a $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 account, or if you've got a $1,000 account, you want to change this right away. This is the use risk factor. All of these options right here, again, are inside of that manual, the PDF manual that will explain all of these details about the trade copier. Again, read that section. You may want to use different variations of this at different times while you're using the trade copier. It really depends on your goals. But right now, again, the standard default setting is 1.0 standard lot. If you don't have enough in your account to execute a standard lot and I place a trade, the trade copier will not open a trade for you. It will know that there's not enough money in the account and it won't execute the trade for you. So there's that safety measure, right? You know that it's not going to deplete your account like that. So I'm going to change this. Let's say, for example, you have a $1,000 trading account and you want to trade a micro lot. So you would type in 1.01. That's it. That's the use risk factor. This specifies the lot size that I want to use. Now, you can increase this, you can change it whenever you want. Keep in mind that regardless of whatever size lot I use when I execute a trade on my platform, the trade copier will only execute what it sees right here in this use risk factor option, which would be a micro lot. So again, if I execute a standard lot, your trade copier will only execute a micro lot right here, or whatever you've put in this field. Now you can use different, again, variations. You only want to pick one of these. You don't want to come in here and start picking all of these. It starts to confuse the trade copier and it won't know what to execute. Pick one of them at a time. Test it. Use it on a demo account. You have lifetime membership to use this trade copier. Use it for a week with one setting, then try another one, maybe another week. You have forever to figure out what is best for you. Talk to your broker, find out what lot size is right for you. All of those factors are going to have an impact on the profitability of using this trade copier and this service with me trading for you. So I'm going to leave that there. Again, if you get stuck or forget about anything that I said, you can always replay this section. And now we're going to scroll down here and we're going to go to, here's a few other lot sizing limits. We're going to go to stop loss. So fixed stop loss or max stop loss. We want to pick max stop loss. If you specified a stop loss that's less than 55 pips, let's say you put in 30 pips and you're comfortable with 30 pip stop loss. But if I use, and I tell you, you know this before you even use my service, that I use the largest size stop loss that I use is 55 pips. If you put in 30, but I'm using 55, your trade's going to get closed out with a loss. And mine may still work if I use a 55 pip stop loss. So I don't recommend using or setting up a 30 pip stop loss because that's not what my system requires. If you change the stop loss, and my system requires a 55 pip stop loss sometimes, you're changing the dynamics of that trade. You're changing the outcome, which means you could experience a loss while the rest of us may end up with a winning trade. So don't do that. Just set up right here. Go to the word that reads max SL pips, max stop loss in terms of pips. And right here, double click and type in 55. That is going to ensure that if a trade ever goes bad and you lose connection or my mt4 account loses connection with the broker server or whatever, technology being what it is, there's always some kind of a weird issue that no one can control. If something happens, this is your backup right here. You know that if you type in 55 pips, you're not going to get a trade from me that is that if it ends up failing, it's not going to be more than 55 pips. So you're good here by setting up that max stop loss. At this point, you're ready to go. You can click OK, and then you're going to see this smile face up here, and then you're going to see the word heartbeat. And the heartbeat is going to show you that you're connected. If for some reason you see a sad face or some other error message, it's easy to fix. And again, if you see a message that you don't understand, open up that PDF manual, the instructions for the trade copier, and you'll find the error messages and the codes there. You'll also find them on the FXBlue website. They're also available there. So I'm going to click OK. Now I know what's going to happen if I click OK. This isn't connected. This account is not connected to my trade copier list. Remember that list that I showed you a few minutes back where I told you you had to send me your account number through an email? I haven't added that. I haven't added this account. So I'll show you what it's going to give me this message. This is what you're going to see if you haven't taken that step. See right here where it reads missing EA parameters? There's a problem right here and it's not connected. This is where the heartbeat would read if everything was set up correctly. And yes, you are going to get a blue screen and you won't be able to see the charts. You can change the color. You can go right back over here to expert. I just right-clicked right on the blank space here and went to expert advisors and clicked properties. And it brought this window back open again. So I didn't set up the channel name. I didn't set up the username and password. That is one of the reasons why it's reading missing EA parameters. If you didn't give me your user account name, the number for me to add it to my trade copier list, then it will also tell you that right up here that that the account doesn't exist. So again, it'll just remind you of what steps you missed. So this is a great system because it'll tell you exactly what to do. If you want to change the color of this blue right here, this blue screen right back up there, sometimes people get bothered with it. I believe you can scroll right down here on these options right there, background color. I don't know if it gives you clear. I don't think it gives you clear. It might, but some people just leave it alone. And what I do is if this was the euro dollar page chart, I just open up a new euro dollar chart with my indicators and things like that right on top of it and leave it there. But I always check to make sure that it's detecting everything correctly. There are a few things that I want to warn you before. Now, again, if you follow all the instructions that I just went through, you won't see this missing EA parameters. Everything's going to be fine. You're going to see a heartbeat and you're going to see the smile face. Let's assume that all of that's taken place. Keep in mind that occasionally I'm going to have more than one trade opened at a time. You want to prepare for that. I don't always have 2 or 3 trades open at one time, but sometimes I will have if it provides that opportunity. Usually it's going to be 1 trade open at a time. Make sure you set up that maximum stop loss. Make sure you talk to your broker about lot sizing if you're confused about that step. Make sure you read through the PDF manual. One final thing. You'll notice right here that I have a couple of different indicators. EAs. I'm not going to add more than one of these EA options in here on the charts. Some of my subscribers occasionally will be using multiple EA trade copiers and EAs that they automatically execute trades because they're using different services. And what they do is they use one account and then they drop in all of these different EAs on all these different charts, and they're hoping that one of them will start making them some money. The problem is if you add too many EAs onto one platform, one account, it starts to create a conflict with these programs. These programs, this FXBlue trade copier, it's designed to detect if there has been new activity on this account. So if you're using my FXBlue trade copier and another trade copier from another service, and that other service has already opened up a trade before I open up a trade, but my FXBlue trade copier detects that the other one has opened up an account or a trade on your account, it may end up duplicating the account for the trade for you. The trade copier might do that all by itself. So you have to keep in mind, technology is limited for the most part. It does whatever we tell it to. And it's designed to detect activity on your trading platform. So again, if you're using my trade copier and other trade copiers from other services and they execute trades, my trade copier or their trade copier could invert some of those trades or duplicate them or close out a good open trade that was open from another service. You get my point. There's so many different things that can happen here. So if you're going to use my trade copier, I recommend just use one trade copier at a time on one account. If you are using multiple trade copier services, I highly recommend that you isolate each one of those trade copiers and add them to different trading accounts. Don't add multiple EAs and trade copiers into one trading account, or you're going eventually to get some really confused trade signals. Some of the trades might be inverted. Some of them might get closed accidentally because, again, the trade copiers are detecting activity on your account. So keep that in mind. Use one trade copier in one account. I've learned the hard way. Sometimes I've even added indicators that did some pretty interesting things, and they ended up inverting some of my trades. This happened to me a few years ago. So, and a while back, just recently. So I've learned the hard way that you need to keep your mt4 account. You want to keep it clean. You just want to keep everything to a really minimal amount of activity when it comes to these little programs that are looking and sniffing out different variations and changes in your account. You want to keep things minimal. It's the best way, and it's going to give you that longevity with some great trading results. Yes, occasionally I have losses, but I can earn those losses back relatively quick, usually on the next trade or two. I just need to wait for the opportunity. You might be asking, when do you place most of your trades? Well, usually after the rollover, I start looking for some HL30s. Now, I have some very important filters that I use when I look at an HL30, because not all HL30s are going to work. Some are more risky than others. So sometimes I'll leave them alone. I won't even bother with them, right? I'll just skip them, and then I won't have any trades during the Asian session. But sometimes I get breakouts during the Asian session. It really depends. The market goes in different cycles, right? Different events, political events, interest rate cycles. I mean, all of these things have an impact, and sometimes I can get continuation breakout trades during the Asian session. And then other times I don't get any trades during the Asian session, and most of them will come in during the New York session. It depends. Things move in cycles. I recommend that if you want to get all of the trades that I execute, make sure that you leave your computer on and your mt4 account open with the page, and you'll notice all these different pages that I have here, with the page that has the EA installed on it. Leave it open. If you close this page or switch this page to another page on your mt4 account that doesn't have the EA installed on it, then you're going to miss the trade. If you close your computer and you don't have it set up on a VPS, you're going to miss the trade if I execute a trade at those times. So again, remember, if you close your computer or close your mt4 account and you don't have it set up on a VPS and I execute a trade at that time, you're going to miss the trade. If you want to get all of the trades that I execute, again, I can't tell you when I get a trade. I'm sorry, I wish I could, but the market is that way. That's the way the market is. You have to follow along with whatever the market's doing, right? Every trader knows that. So I can only follow along and look for the best opportunities for me and my subscribers and then execute when I get a valid signal. I never know when that's going to happen. Sometimes I can get a pretty good idea of when things are going to set up for me. But again, no one ever knows exactly when the market's going to turn and hit a specific level. It's just not possible. None of us can see the future. I have a crystal ball in my office, but my kids gave it to me as a joke many years ago, and it still doesn't work. It does not tell me when to get into the trade and where to get out. So unfortunately, that's the way it works. Please keep that in mind. So how do you get all of the trades? That might be the question that you're thinking. How do you get all of the trades and not miss any? And also so that you can close your computer. You can't keep your computer on or open all the time. You need to set up a VPS. So set up a VPS, get a VPS service, get that VPS desktop, and then you'll install your mt4 account, the MetaTrader on that desktop. And then you'll also install the trade copier, the FXBlue trade copier, just like we did in this video. Remember how I showed you the FXBlue trade copier on my desktop and it was a zip folder? You'll follow that procedure the same way on your VPS desktop. It's really easy. It might seem like a really weird process because you might be overthinking it if you've never done it before, but it is really easy. It's the same thing. You just have to imagine that what you're looking at is your computer desktop. and you just install it the same way. Once you have your mt4 account and the trade copier installed inside of that mt4 account on your VPS desktop, then you can close your computer and turn off your mt4 platform on your regular computer, as long as you leave it all open on your VPS. And then it'll be running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and every time I execute a trade, you'll get every one of those trades. That's the best way. Now, I don't recommend any VPS, so I would recommend it if you're going to look for one and you need one, go to Google, type in Forex VPS service. There's many of them, and they change. Businesses go in and out. I've seen them for years, go in and out. Some of them are still around. The other thing I noticed recently was that Forex.com, which is one of the companies that I use here in the United States, they're offering VPS to their clients at $10 a month. So again, using my trade copier and only having to purchase it one time means that you never have to pay for it again. You have lifetime membership. So it frees up your capital to be able to purchase some of these other tools and things that are necessary, like VPS service, or taking a little bit of extra time to read that manual. I'm going to go back to talking about reading that manual. Please read that manual. Help me save some time so that I can get back out there and find more trades. And again, I'll be there, and so will Michael, if you absolutely need help trying to get it connected. But these trade copiers have been around for a long time, and EAs like this, and MetaTrader has been around for a long time. And there are many videos on YouTube that will show you how to install an EA inside of your platform. And the FXBlue. There's a lot of people who have made videos on FXBlue trade copier. Those are also on YouTube. So if you can help save me a little bit of time while I'm trading, you can just take that step and watch a 10-minute video, and it answers any other questions that I haven't answered here. You're going to get that information a lot faster than sending me an email and waiting. Very often while I'm trading, I won't respond to emails during regular trading hours, and sometimes I'm trading 16, 18 hours, so I won't even look at my emails. It can be very distracting sometimes. I'm just looking for trades. I'm watching the news. I'm paying attention to my environment. I'm controlling my environment. I'm very protective of my trading environment. I always have. I learned the hard way that you can't turn your back on it. So again, if you're waiting for an email from me, it might be a little while. And then, as I said, Michael works about 8, sometimes 9 or 10 hours. We'll put in a little bit longer in some days. But again, we're all on California time. So you have to keep that in mind if you're trying to get the trade copy or an answer. You might be able to find that answer to your question on YouTube. Thank you for your time. I know this was a long video, but I think that the investment in time initially to set this up is going to pay off big for you. I mean, it's just going to give you an opportunity to really understand how you can leverage this trade copier into the future and grow your account. You want to take advantage of as many trades as I execute. Remember, sometimes I'm going to have 1 or 2, sometimes on a very rare instance, maybe even 3 trades open at the same time. And in order to participate in those trades, you have to cut back on the lot sizing. You have to. You don't want to overexpose. And remember, the trade copier won't execute another trade anyway if you don't have enough money in your account. It protects you that way. So again, if you need to go through, you can back this video up and start at any section that you need to. But we covered everything. Actually, setting up the FXBlue account on their website is actually pretty easy if you just follow those 2 steps, the email verification and the SMS verification. Don't skip that SMS verification. Don't skip that step. Make sure you have your phone ready when you get started, and make sure you have your email account open.